Yeah, it's good that you're watching to the weekly stream where we discuss all the latest gaming news and also answer your questions. We're live now every Wednesday. First it was Monday, but yeah, we're chilling on the Wednesday, and seems that, and I mean it makes sense. Monday is maybe not the best time because like it's afternoon for me, but of course if you're from the US or other parts of the world, it might be morning now while I'm pouring myself some tea. So yeah, then Wednesday is probably a bit better, and we've been seeing that. Thanks everyone for joining as always. Skata, good to see you. Mick Motorhead, Jet Laner, Babs Gaming, Saber Knight, saw you there, of course, already too. So how is everyone doing? Subby1, Reddit Phantom, good to see you guys as always. Appreciate you all joining, being here. I got my Cyberpunk Bomberjack on because it's cold here. So I thought, let's make it a bit warmer by wearing the jacket. And yeah, we had some interesting news. Let's see what my tweet is doing. But yeah, let's see. I wanted to start with Sander, good to see you as well. So of course, I said in the Sunday video, and made actually a short on it as well, that GTA 6 will not have a physical version at launch. And this was according to a Polish website. And that Polish website had been correct before, talking about a PS5 version for Flight Simulator 2024, which of course released last November. And we also, yeah, they also had like a Sega Cross or like a Sonic Cross World rumor and some other things, all correct. They were saying, yo, we are hearing that the physical version for GTA 6 will be delayed by a few weeks or might even arrive in early 2027, which kind of crazy, of course, because that game, like a lot of people want to have the disc. But we live in a really, really different day and age now where this, I mean, it always happened, but now with the internet, like I always think that there were probably always stores or like, yeah, I mean, some people just steal it out of warehouse. Like, I don't know where people always get these copies, but it's very common that a physical edition leaks and then people play it a few weeks before launch. And one of the biggest games, like the first big game that is coming out this year, just leaked because physical versions have already been released. And I think that's so fascinating to see that rumor that the Take-Two boss is now saying, no, we have no plans to not launch a physical version. So seems to be happening. And then like a few hours later, we have the first post about a big game leaking because physical versions are already out there. So that's one of the things we will be discussing. Demonic Dragon, very cool name. Hope you're well. I'm doing well. Thanks for joining. Skolton, good to see you as well. Phase 23, thanks as always for your support. Are you covering Neo 3? I have no plans. I started the game. I played for an hour or something. And I totally get why people like it. It's very cool that early on you have a big... I'm not sure if I have the footage. Not sure if I have my footage. But we can like quickly look at Neo. We can quickly look at it. There's probably a Neo 3 part 1 up already. From the Red Bread. Okay, Red Bread. Show me what you got. You know? Red Bread. Okay, so like it's pretty cool. So yeah, I played this as well. So there's like a tutorial at first. You pick one of the weapons. So you can kind of choose your weapon right here. I think this is also part of the demo. So if you are on the fence about the game, you can totally check it out. And I think the demo progress also carries over. So yeah, this person picked like a regular katana. I went for the Odashi, like the bigger sword. And very cool is that super early on. Again, we're skipping through part 1. That you also have a... I think it's a bit before this. Yeah, you also have sort of a ninja stance that you switch between. So you start at like your regular stance. Let's see where. I think that's still here. So we're praying. And again, that is what, like, again, I get it why people like this, but I'm not the biggest Souls-like fan, and the structure of this game, I was not in the mood to play a game like this, basically, where you got your shrines where you have to pray, and then you hit your head against the wall against an enemy, like a boss, because very early on you already fight like a huge boss in a sort of tent, and I was dying a couple times. I kind of get it. It's not for me, but it's great to see the reviews are great. So this is like your regular stance, and then at one point you also get a way more like ninja, way faster stance that you can then immediately switch between, which is kind of awesome. So yeah, this person also has Hattori Hanzo. Hey, he's back. So here, yeah, you got like a style shift. Samurai style and ninja style. And yeah, ninja style's faster. Has all the ninja tools, basically. And also a Kusarigama. I think you can quickly choose that. You can do the hatchet. Like, I went for the Kusarigama as well. There you go. And yeah, then you fight the enemies with like a different style. And it's kind of cool to switch between that. They have some online elements as well, where you can fight other players or something. At one point you have like these blood drops on the ground. Hey Ivan, good to see you as well. McMotorhead, I would wager that an eventual physical version won't contain much of the actual game data anyways. Yeah, that is my thing as well, Mick. We will discuss that in a moment, but yeah, I think they're gonna just launch a box, and it contains like a code for the digital version of the game. Most important game of the year for me? You mean GTA or Neo? Understandable that physical copies are being released after launch, since all the bad actors who leaked the game, but even before, yeah. I mean, if it happens with like smaller titles, I mean, Shadows is still big, but GTA 6 will sell more in one day than Shadows' lifetime. to kind of like put into perspective how big GTA is, of course, versus the Shadows. And Shadows was already sold on, I don't think it was eBay, but one of those websites where people like sell stuff because they stole it from an Amazon warehouse. So if that already happens with Shadows, imagine what will happen with GTA. But yeah, this is Neo 3. I'm happy for everyone that it's almost out. And again, you can play the demo already. I hope everyone has a great time. Let's quickly check the Metacritic here. 86, which is huge. I mean, those games always tend to do very well. Nothing really surprising about this at all. 100, crazy. Yeah, it's basically the first good game of the year. VGC 80. Feels like a summation of Team Ninja's effort over from the last decade. Its combat is varied and tight, much like its level design and its fantastic adventure. Storytelling could use some work, but the action is flawless. That's what we expect from Team Ninja. They did Rise of the Ronin as well, right? Yeah. I still wish that game was better than it turned out to be. Hey, Moist, good to see you as well. York, could you see Guerrilla do a surprise launch for the Horizon Online game? I mean, I don't know about a surprise launch. Like, what Sony really, of course, saw with their Concord debacle, and what I think Highguard probably could have benefited from that as well, to just name a recent game that came out, is that you want to get people into a closed test or something like that to already know what the feedback will be when you release it in a public sort of domain, because you can be working on a game like in your studio and hire people to play test it for you, but that will, of course, not be similar to what it will be like when people actually play it at home, like it is intended. Like, one thing I think a really good example is for Concord. Obviously, many things went wrong with that, but in the beta, when someone would drop out of a match, there was, I don't think, a way for other people to join the match in progress. So basically, well, it was 5v5, right? If one person, or 4v4, if one person fell out of the team, you were like screwed. So I don't think they even had a penalty for that. So you could just be like, oh, my team sucks, I'm out. And then all those people had to fight for like 10 more minutes. And yeah, that did not work out, obviously. So no, I do think, and also with Highguard, like what we're seeing now, they're launching a new mode. I mean, or they have like, yeah, they're doing a new shooter mode. And yeah, they're now doing 5v5 as well, which is working out for them. But I don't see how they can sustain a healthy player base, keep the studio afloat with the amount of players that are playing right now. Well, if they would have been like, yo, we're still early, you can test with us, and kind of be in early access or whatever, and then do a big launch later, that would have probably been way better. And then they probably would have had way more feedback saying, okay, this raid mode you guys are doing is great, but we need a regular team deathmatch or something else as well. We need way more content to actually come back. Because for whatever reason, my Reddit like keeps recommending Highguard posts to me, even though I'm not on that Reddit page at all. But it's still interesting to see what's going on. And it's crazy to me that every live service makes the same mistake, where people are like, yeah, I'm not surprised that players are dropping out. There's no progression. Like, just, you can have a bingo card with all the things that go wrong at a live service launch, and these companies do not seem to learn. So that is interesting. Moy says, do you believe Highguard will get shut down in a few weeks? I mean, I hope they had realistic expectations for it. If they are okay with like a 10,000 player base, and that will grow over time, maybe. But I mean, if they were expecting a moderate success, then it won't be long. Thanks everyone for joining there in the YouTube chat as well, Charles. Yeah, I really don't want a side-scrolling God of War, can't lie. I wish it was an actual full AAA game. I mean, like, of course, getting the side-scrolling God of War, that's of course the rumor for people who don't know. Greek. It kind of had a false start because there were people reporting that there would be a new Greek God of War or a prequel or whatever. And first we thought, oh, it's a trilogy remake. Oh, it's an actual God of War game, but set in Greece, but with the gameplay from the 2018 game. And then it turned out to be a 2.5D Metroidvania, probably similar to Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So yeah, that is not great. But, or yeah, like your expectation is different. It could still be cool, but of course, getting that 2.5D Metroidvania game does not mean that we're not getting a full-on God of War game. So, one doesn't rule out the other, basically. But yeah, I do think, Mohammed, that we will see the God of War game at the State of Play, because it has been rumored for a while, but you never know with Sony. It could also be that they saved it for June. Or their second State of Play, basically. Hey, Sarah, it's good to see you as well. Mo Jopi, do you think Crimson Desert will have a mediocre story? I mean, it's possible. We don't really know a lot about the game yet, still. I really hope there will be, like, one more... Like, that's what they usually do before launch, right? One more press event or, like, preview session where, like, maybe... Like, I would love to go, obviously, but if not, then other people can get their hands on hopefully a chunky amount of gameplay. Like, I don't know, 8 hours. Sometimes these Ubisoft events are crazy where you get to play a ton before launch and can then report on it. And then you kind of always have a good idea of what the game will be like. So I hope that will be the case for Crimson Desert as well. I, in particular, just want to play through the opening and kind of see what a character looks like in the first hours, so I can kind of get an idea of, okay, is it already too complicated then, or are they like really at a good pace introducing new elements? But yeah, then we will also see if the story is great. I don't know, man. What I think will happen with the Crimson Desert story is that I think the overall mystery will be kind of awesome. We, of course, have these sky islands and these artifacts dropping down, and that is like people are fighting for power over these sort of artifacts that also seem to give the villains of this world a lot of power. But I'm mostly curious if the one-on-one dialogue between these characters is gonna be good. So far, I've not seen that. So, hey Melissa, good to see you as well. Paul, good to see you too. So yeah, we will see. We will see, but it is totally something that can cause for concern, because it's not a, I don't know, like a new CDPR game where we should not worry about the story, because the Cyberpunk quest and Witcher 3 quests are some of the best in the business. So yeah, I don't think before the Witcher 4 launch we will be like, oh, I hope the story is good. It will probably be, or at least there will be like a lot of narrative content that will be appealing. I've not played Black Desert Online like I have played it, but it's been a long time. And also not really for the story. And that game I don't think is really about the story. Like that's usually the case with MMOs. So we will see. We will see. McModa, if there's no data, I would prefer they just put a big chocolate chip cookie in the box instead. Or for the GTA physical box. I don't know, man. Like, these physical editions are circulating 4 weeks in advance, so then that cookie will not... I would not recommend eating that. Let's see, we got another very generous super chat there. Thank you, Molan John. Did we talk about GTA 6 yet? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm gonna throw up the thing that I wanted to quickly discuss, because I don't buy it. I don't buy it. And I'm gonna say why in a moment. Let's see, what else do we have here? And you might be like, what do you not buy? Like, that's the tease. That's the tease. We're gonna talk about that in a second. JorRaptor, you should get people to cover the other big AAA games that come out that you don't play. Yeah, more on that next week. But no, that is not my my idea anymore. Pyrus definitely should have a beta first. Game's fun, but very boring after a few matches. Exactly, regarding High Guard, probably right. I mean, they probably tested the game, like they've been working on it for 4 years. Still, at one point, if you're only focused on that game, you're not the best. Yeah, you're not the best audience to give a fair review. And you can hire as many playtesters, it's not the same. So yeah, they should have done an early access or whatever. Highguard was overhyped and didn't give us enough info until release. I mean, if the game was really good, if there was enough content, Dravon, I don't think it would have mattered in the end. The next update for Shadows, we don't know. I hope we hear something this month, but again, I do think the Black Flag delay means that they delayed the content for Shadows as well, because there was seemingly some sort of crossover. I can't believe Crimson Desert comes out in a month. I'm still... Yeah, I still don't believe it either, but it seems to be really happening. They're gone gold, they are pushing out new videos. So, yeah. I played the demo so far regarding Neo 3, but in my opinion, Neo 3 is the best Neo game. It's actually on the same level as Elden Ring for me. That's crazy. Well, I'm happy for you, Doublet. Or Doubled, I should say. That is super, super awesome. I believe you can block recommendations on Reddit if you want. Yeah, I know, Markerman, but sometimes I don't want to be in my bubble all the time. So if that means I sometimes like see some stuff that is going on in High Guard, I think it's always like fascinating, because we like obviously default to certain games, and there are some games that are more popular than others. But you have to remember, and I think that's fascinating about the gaming industry, and maybe every piece of entertainment or media, there's always a small audience that is still engaging with that thing that you thought was maybe dead. And sometimes there's like it's really that metaphor of like moving a rock and then seeing like a lot of ants or whatever still there. Like you don't think about it, but there are still a ton of people playing. Like I don't know, like I also get recommends for the League of Legends fighting game, for example. And then I see like, oh, Street Fighter 6. Like the fighting community is enormous. I never hear anyone about it, but there are people that are like, we are looking at the patch notes for Shadows or for the open world games. There are people that are every day talking about Street Fighter 6. Just as an example. So yeah, I think that's sometimes cool to also see. Kino and Sky Highguard is not looking good. Again, it's all about their expectations. If they thought, okay, we're gonna get a solid base of like 10k, maybe 50k, and then we're building from that, I just don't think they can get another. Like I think, so like you can compare it to the finals in a way where that game also had a big boost and then it kind of fell down and then it has been getting better and better. But I just don't think that, like when people looked at the finals and saw the destruction and stuff in that game, they were always like, oh, this game is awesome. I want this to be good. And I'm not sure if anyone looks at Highguard being like, oh, I will check back later because it's so fascinating what they're doing. Or something, I don't know. I'm not seeing that. But I, of course, wish them all the best. I think it is kind of cool, though, that even though they're not saying who's funding them, which is kind of shady, but that they are a, like, and Highguard is a great example also of why the gaming industry is kind of struggling and why, in general, we will go to what we're already seeing with movies and where there are just a few big, or like the streaming services, there are just a few big entities that are doing very well and they kind of control everything. So seeing like people leave EA, leave Respawn to create their own studio, work on a game for 4 years, a game that they really believe in, that they want to work, and it can come out, it can get the buzz that a Highguard has had, is kind of awesome. But it also shows you that the chances of it succeeding are very slim. So they don't have the resources of an EA where, okay, Highguard, we just put it out. It's not where we want it to be, but we had Battlefield 6, so it evens out, and we can just have this teamwork on Highguard. It will not make any money, maybe for 2 years, but in 2 years they can add way more modes, content, characters, and then in 2 years we will do a 2.0 launch, and it will be super successful. Like, they like, big companies could try that, but I don't know if the Highguard team is able to do that if they don't get any money, because I'm not sure who's gonna, like, fund that. Ethan, good to see you as well. 53 Nights, you too. Excited for the GTA marketing this summer? Yeah, it's... I don't know, man. I think the world is not ready for GTA 6 marketing in general. Like, that's what it feels like overall with the whole gaming industry in 2026. It's like everyone is trying, it's fun and all, but it doesn't matter. In the end, when GTA 6 drops a trailer, I mean, there will be, at one point during the GTA 6 sort of marketing campaign, it will be like, yo, Rockstar dropped a new photo of someone's feet, and that will go viral. Like, there might be a point, because of course, when GTA 5 was in the pre-marketing cycle, things were completely different. There was no TikTok. YouTube was way smaller. It was mostly websites and stuff. So maybe, weird prediction, maybe by the time we actually get to November 19th, we will already be sick of GTA, because it's all people talk about. It's all we see. And I would not be surprised if there is like a group of people or a growing base where it's like, I don't want anything to do with this game. I'm already sick of it. I haven't even played it, but it's all I can see on my timeline or whatever. Maybe that will happen. That would be funny because I think you could, GTA 5, you could more easily ignore it. Just don't click on the articles. But yeah, now in the day and age where things are thrown in your face, would be interesting. I'm curious if we reach November 19th and you will have people that are like, oh, what's happening with the GTA 6 thing? That they're not in the loop. I don't think that's possible. So maybe, look, they say it's gonna be a big marketing cycle. Rockstar, I would argue, don't do it. Just be like, here's Trader 3. You can pre-order now. We have an $80 edition and we have a $120 edition. If you want to play it 3 days early, buy the $120 edition and you get some shark cards or online money or whatever. See you then. Then, 2 weeks before, yo, we got another trailer. Oh, and by the way, the online mode is delayed. Doesn't matter, we're working on a single player mode. It's coming out. Billboards, like everywhere you go, you're driving your car, you see GTA. You cannot escape it, and then it's out. And that's it. I don't think they need a big marketing campaign for this at all, and it might even hurt it. It might even hurt it. That's what I think. What happened? Please tell me GTA 6 is hitting PC at the same time as console. No, Mike, it's not. Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic with a lot of games in the industry right now. Mr. J, I'm always for people being more optimistic, but sometimes we have to be realistic, of course. We won't see anything about GTA until the summertime. Again, like, if I were Rockstar, I would start marketing in October. Like, do a summer trailer for the pre-orders to open, and then say nothing. I think they can really reach a point where people are just over it before the game is even out. Times have changed, man. Times have changed. I'm hyped for the rumored state of play. Me too. Probably next week during the stream, we will know about the state of play. We can kind of talk about it. So it's rumored for February 12th, and usually they announce it 2 days before. I will then, of course, do a prediction video as well. I think Will Powers is hesitant on telling us more, because it's a spoiler kind of the story, probably a big twist or something. Obviously, there will be some big twist, but I also don't need to see more of the story. I just want to know if the dialogue is good, and so far they've been kind of dodging that. So even though this first part of the Crimson Desert trailer was focused on the story, we still have not seen a lot. Like that Witcher 4 tech demo had more dialogue and story than the Crimson Desert Part 1 trailer about the story. If that makes sense. Thanks everyone for joining as always, Mike. So what's the GTA news? I don't want to turn out bad, but I think GTA has always been overrated. That is an interesting take. GTA is gonna be crazy. That's the comment under that. What about PC? Like I said, Anktit, it's coming out later. That's what they do. They want to double dip. Black Knight, good to see you there as well. Excited for Requiem, Jordan? No. Feed, you say? I mean, those GTA screenshots, they will be crazy. People are gonna, every pixel they're gonna focus on. We all know it's gonna happen. Do you think the development cycle will ever get back to 2010 levels, where games took 3 years? Or is forever 5-8 years? Adadri, I think it will be. I think there will be a bigger divide between two types of games moving forward. I think there will be the big, huge games that will be tentpole releases, an Elder Scrolls 6, GTA 6. Wow, they're all 6s. The Witcher 4, like stuff like that. Those titles will take a lot of time, but when they, like, those are also expected to sell 20 million easily lifetime. So they can spend a ton of time on them, and people will come into those games with the expectation, okay, this is gonna try something new. It's gonna push the medium forward. But I also think there will be games that will be still AAA maybe. Maybe play it a bit safe, but just your typical open world action adventure game. Nothing wrong about it, but I do think that those games that are not expected to sell to 10 million, maybe 5 million, maybe come out a bit more frequent and will maybe have a smaller budget because they're also maybe reusing a lot of animations and other stuff from previous titles in that series. So I do think, like, at one point these companies have to figure out, okay, maybe our business model that we had for the last couple of years, I think Assassin's Creed is a great example, doesn't work anymore. We cannot have 1,000 people working 4 years on this big AAA open world game because it's not guaranteed for us that it will sell 10 million. So we're gonna make a smaller team and, like, still make an enjoyable game. Like, I think for Assassin's Creed, people just want to experience a new setting, sneak around, kill some people, and they're not expecting much more. And obviously you want some new features, but if those games can come out every 3 years, people would, I think, be fine, happy about it. But yeah, because we're not expecting a, I don't know, cyberpunk level of interactions and stuff. So I think there will be like two sides to it. But yeah, we will see. I mean, we of course have AI, which might change a lot. Maybe that does mean that it will accelerate development, maybe at the cost of people's jobs. But as we've always seen with technology, when new things are being, like, incorporated, new jobs will surface. Like, someone now has to check everything the AI is doing, or has to, like, so maybe some, like, that's of course the optimistic view at AI being incorporated in gaming. I mean, AI is already huge in gaming right now. But yeah, if AI can create the boring stuff, the trees, I think EA once said making a stadium for FIFA cost them like 10 months. And with AI, it cost them like a week or something like that. Like, it significantly reduced the time they had to spend on making a stadium, which I don't think is like an exciting, creative thing for these developers to do. So they're now outsourcing a lot as well to different companies to make the environment and stuff. If AI can help with that, like, as long as there's still a lot of creativity in those games, and I don't think AI will end up making our games, but because you always need that creative vision, and there's way more obviously than the simple art and being able to move around the character. But yeah, I do think that will accelerate development, but then we will probably come up with new things, and then development cycle will still be long. But we will see. I also don't think that if we somehow figured out to make games again in 2-3 years, the market will not. There's no market for that. So you can maybe put out a new. Some games can maybe, but there will be. If you you will run franchises into the ground if you launch a new one every 2 years. People will not show up. So I don't think that would be sustainable either. Elkashi, good to see you. If you're looking for dialogue in Crimson Desert, you have plenty of playthroughs on YouTube. I think that's very old footage though, right? I feel like studios will ultimately need smaller games in between to help fund the studios' massive projects, granted. Yeah, and I think CD Projekt Red seems to I feel like CD Projekt Red is kind of like nailing that, or trying to nail that. They, of course, when they're moving on to The Witcher 4, the next Cyberpunk game, but they're hiring different teams to still work on updates. There are rumors that there's going to be a Witcher 3 DLC, but made by a different team. Like, basically, CDPR has the audience that wants more content. The developers in-house are working on the next big thing, but to still get the cash flow going and to still feed the hunger of the fans, they go to a trusted partner and they're like, we will oversee it, but you go make this Witcher 3 DLC. You go make this new Cyberpunk DLC. We will see how that works out for them, but I think that could be a very cool way for them to do it. And yeah, they got the Witcher 1 remake, yes, as well. Hype died for GTA 6 after the delay. Fable took all the hype. Took all my hype. Oh, just wait for the next feed picture from GTA 6. Are you gonna watch the Street Fighter movie? Are we gonna go watch the Street Fighter movie together? I have no plans to watch it. Although I did like the Game Awards thing they did for it. 1,000 people for 4 years or 500 people for 10 plus years. I mean, that is what we're currently seeing, and that's what like basically what the learning has been, and what you like. When I heard about it, I was like, it makes so much sense. But basically, throwing more people at the same project does not equal to, let's say, okay, if 200 people are working on a project, putting 400 people on that same project doesn't mean that they work 2 times as fast, because everyone has to communicate. There will be more meetings. Like, maybe you still speed things up, but you also create way more problems that you would not have if you had a more agile, smaller team. And I think that is what people in the gaming industry are kind of seeing right now. And that is what Ubisoft is struggling with as well. They got all these people that they don't need. And like, they have all, like, they are not really, working in America, where it's way easier to get rid of people, which is not great. And yeah, in Europe, Canada, like, there are way better labor laws, which is great for people working there. But yeah, that does mean that Ubisoft has to think of other creative ways to get rid of those people, because it's just not sustainable for them as a business to have all these people when they release nothing that actually sells really well. So yeah, if they could like pull the plug and start over, I think that would, like, if they can just have like 3 teams working on a new Assassin's Creed game, so you can launch something every 2 years. Like, it doesn't have to be like a big mainline game, I don't know. You got your Rainbow Six live service team, and you got a team working on the next Far Cry. You got a successful company right there, but that's obviously not what the situation is right there. A lot of people will probably lose work, though, sadly, yeah. But yeah, that's what we've been kind of seeing with all the tech companies, not even in gaming. It's, yeah, they overhired, or yeah, they're finding ways where a lot of people are not necessary anymore. That is totally the sad reality that we're already seeing. I thought they were trying to use AI to shorten development time. Yeah, that's of course what they're trying to do. But like that would be that is of course perfect world, right? But we will see if that actually happens. And again, I don't think shorter dev times would actually be. We're already like, there are too many games coming out. So if every game has a shorter dev cycle, there's no room for all these titles. Like, we're this week talking about Neo 3. Next week we will have forgotten about it. Like, the general public. So as a game, you really got your few day window to grab everyone. And I've said it multiple times during this stream and in videos. September, October will be a bloodbath. Again, just like last year. But this year, I think it will be even crazier. So imagine if the companies could release more games, there will not be enough people to show up for those games. And that's why these companies also revert to microtransactions. So you spend 6-7 years to launch a big game, and then like for every other type of, like, for example, for a, let's see, like if you are a band, I'm not sure if this is like the best comparison, but if you are a band, you're doing a tour, you basically want a way for your most like your biggest fan base to go crazy and spend as much money on you as your band and on your product as possible. So you want to have multiple ways for them to do that. Okay, you have your concert, you have your music, but doesn't bring in a lot. You got your merch. Maybe they go to multiple shows. Maybe they go to a festival where you're playing. Like, there are a ton of ways for a hardcore fan to, in the end, have spent 2,000 on you that year. And like, an album takes only 2-3 years to make. For a game, if you are like a huge company and you have this very popular game, you worked on it for 7-8 years, and all you can get out of those people is the $60 entry fee. Then you're like, what else can we do, right? And yeah, of course, you got the DLC, you got your collector's edition. There are certainly more ways. But I do think that, yeah, especially now where first games could get way like could more easily reach the X amount of millions, because people were sometimes waiting for new games to come out. Times are different. There's always something to play, and even games from 2019. Again, I'm playing Control right now, almost finished. I mean, it still works great. If that game came out 2 years ago with the PS5 version, people would have not have been like, "Oh, this is like an old game." So it's pretty hard to get like a huge hit right now in gaming. So yeah, I do think it's not weird that companies try to get more out of the fans that they do have. Basically, AI will be the death of creativity. I don't know, man. I think that's no. AI is a tool for that you can help with creativity. Like the thing with AI is it's gonna continue to be like big, get bigger. We can be like, oh no, it will be the end of this, or we can be like, okay, how can we adapt and how can we use this to your like. I'm using it for like I'm using ChatGPT as well for videos and stuff, and it's saving some time for me. So like I'm thinking, okay, I can be like, oh, I'm not gonna use it, or I can be like, okay, how can this actually help me? And yeah, and I think then you can probably use it for creativity. Now, obviously, there's gonna be a huge impact if you, for example, make music for commercials, or if you make logos, or if you make like for festivals, like the poster or whatever. Yeah, that work will disappear because it's way cheaper to get an AI to do it, and it will. For some companies, it won't matter. If you hear like a TV commercial with like an AI, like no vocal music, you don't have to pay any like fee to any of the companies. Like why wouldn't you do it, right? So obviously that's gonna have a huge impact on a market. But I'm always of the mind that those people know it's going to happen. Okay, how can I still be of value to this new to this new sort of media landscape we're gonna exist in? And it's gonna be hard, obviously, but yeah, it's kind of part of the. You gotta reinvent yourself. You gotta stay on top of trends to be able to sustain yourself in that media landscape. Uh, yeah, yeah, that is interesting about the CDPR thing, Embroy, for sure. Do you reckon we will see EA Motive Iron Man game trailer this year? I don't know. I think EA, I mean, like EA, I hope that for as long as they exist, they will still fund these single player games. So next to all the live service stuff they are doing, but we will have to wait and see, because yeah, like Battlefield sold more in 1 month probably than, or like made them more money in 1 month than all the other than the single player games, etc. So I hope they just do it for the love of the game. But I think this year I can see Jedi 3 be before Iron Man. So if you don't know, Motive of course did the Dead Space remake, and they've been helping with Battlefield. And there was a rumor, or Tom Henderson reported it. Of course, he has sources saying that EA Motive was working on the Iron Man game, but they needed for the Battlefield 6 launch to have more people from the Iron Man team. So that game actually got a bit of a delay because of Battlefield 6. So I think we won't see that game this year. I do think we will see it 2027 at the earliest. But I do believe Jedi 3. That rumor that it's coming out this year is a bit crazy. But I can totally see it being announced, at least. I can totally see it being announced. Hey, Cole, I talked about the Neo 3 a bit earlier in the stream, but I have played it, and I get why people like it, but I'm not really in the mood for like a Souls-like like that, at least right now. The quality may get worse too. Game quality are bad now with long development cycles. Yeah, that is kind of crazy. A long development cycle does not even mean that the game is polished at launch. Because usually a long development cycles means during development, they shifted directions. I mean, we just heard this week, and I know some people already knew about this, but I never had like a source for it. But Avowed was a multiplayer co-op fantasy game at first, and then they shifted to the single player game that it is right now. And that, of course, adds a lot of years to it. While if they were like, okay, Avowed is going to be a traditional single player game, they would have been able to make it in 4 years. Crimson Desert was started out as an MMO, a prequel to Black Desert. Obviously, it's a single player action RPG or action adventure game right now. So usually a long dev cycle means either they've been working on tech, what we all saw with Shadows, Crimson Desert actually as well. They've been making a new engine or an upgraded engine while working on the game. And that obviously, like then some people cannot work on particular elements because the engine is not done yet or that technology is not working. So yeah, that adds of course a lot of years. So that's why my assumption was wrong. Like I really thought, okay, Shadows, the longest RPG or the longest dev cycle for an RPG, this is gonna be great. Obviously, I still think the game, like from a technical perspective, again, they spent just a lot of time on the engine. That's amazing, and future Assassin's Creed games will benefit from it. But yeah, the story was still shallow, and I wanted more from the open world activities, etc., etc. So yeah, a long dev cycle. That's totally what we learned. Does not equal polished or variety of content. A lot of the live service games, Anthem, and you name it, they were all in development for many years. And then they launch without any endgame content. And you're like, what have you guys been doing for all this time? But it's just super complicated. Jedi 3 would be great this year, right? Yeah. Current economy does only support the use of AI to replace labor. But yeah, that's also the thing with, okay, so we're gonna replace everyone with AI. Who's gonna buy our product then? Like, sometimes I do wonder what those companies are thinking. If they lay everyone off, then there's no one to buy their stuff. AI is way too expensive for AI providers at the moment for what it generates. It doesn't make sense financially. Yeah, I know these stories too. But that is like for an open AI. Like, I do think there are startups, there are companies that have figured out a way to do it. And what will be the actual business model, I think for B2B, it's going to be way more interesting right now than for consumers. But yeah, obviously they're forcing us to use all these AI features and implementing it in the Google search. So even if you don't want to use AI, you have to if you use Google search. So yeah, obviously it's way more complicated, but like I was of that mindset as well with AI, where I was really like also hearing all the PC parts being way more expensive. Like I was lucky, or still it was a lot of money, but I bought my upgrades for my PC early October. So before the RAM prices increased even like to the degree that they have right now. But so yeah, we are all hearing that. We're like, okay, the consoles might be delayed, like blah blah blah. It's all impacting direct to consumer products. For what? So I can ask ChatGPT to summarize this article for me. I would rather read it if I can then buy RAM for like way cheaper, right? So I totally get that. But then I heard a podcast talking about Cloud Code, for example. So there's a program where if you never like learned how to code, you can just use a prompt, be like, I want an app, I like wanna cook a meal, and I wanna use I want you to let me know what like non-alcoholic drinks are good with that meal. I want a functioning app. I want to blah blah blah. So I want the UI to look like this app. Go. And then the cloud code is like, give me 20 minutes. You move, you go back to your computer in 20 minutes. You have a functioning app. So stuff like that would cost developers a long time before, or like there are way more examples like that. And so basically what seems to be happening is that obviously we have this, let's call it mainstream narrative where AI, like, which is totally true. Like, these companies are spending way too much money. It's not good for the environment, all that sort of stuff. But you also still have people that are super in tune with what is happening and how it's evolving and how it's doing things that were not possible 2 months ago. They are like, look, 10 years ago, I had a group of developers, like they were at a company. I had a group of developers. I wanted them to make this app for me. It was not possible. Now, 10 years later, I asked this AI, in 20 minutes, I have a functioning app. Like, if you look at it that way, you're like, okay, there is something crazy happening here. So we have to keep that in mind as well. Hey, Kamiso, good to see you. They're past the point of needing customers. They think that, yeah. We will see how that will work out. Did you hear 8's come at 6 as pre-order bonus for 8? No, I've not heard that, RX, but that is interesting. What's the likelihood that reviewers will find GTA 6 to be stuck in the past, gameplay-wise? I mean, maybe the shooting. I mean, shooting in Rockstar games have never been really good, to be honest. It's not why I play those games, but maybe the gameplay will be kind of stuck in the past, but the world around it, they need to make a really realistic open world with systems. Like, I want to see those headlines where we had rumors. We should not, like, think that those are correct, but you shoot someone, you, like, a few, maybe 10 minutes later in the game, you go back to that spot, police car arrive. Like, they actually are kind of like a sort of Westworld type situation where the AI really have their life. They really respond to your actions instead of just feeling it like having it feel like a game where you get the wanted status and you go away. No, there is a police there. They blockade the street because someone was killed there. Like, stuff like that would be cool, and I hope that there are many of these. I mean, even GTA 5 in 2013 had these crazy sort of cool moments happen in the open world, and Red Dead 2 was, of course, taking that to the enormous next level and implement that in a new open world game, only having to work on PS5, Xbox Series, not on PS4 anymore. Look, I have high hopes for at least the city being very lifelike, something we've not seen before. Mike, did I see the Toxic Commando gameplay? No, I kind of tuned out with that game, to be honest with you. I'm actually a little bit excited to play Avowed on PS5 this month. Pyrus, it's a fine game. It's a pretty cool game. The combat is great. The rewards are great for, like, exploring the world. I played it for a couple hours, had a pretty good time. So, yeah. Hey, Neil Dancer, good to see you as well. Considering how quickly game graphics advance now, it will only get trickier. Especially since PS6 will definitely have neural rendering, and I assume Xbox will follow that trend too. So you mean that it will just look like live? Like, I don't know if we ever need to reach that spot. I would, like, that's obviously what everyone always points out to. Like, the most popular game in the world is Roblox. Like, that looks like the ugliest game ever, but it doesn't matter for people. So obviously there's some market for really, really good graphics. But I think the PlayStation 6 will mostly focus on AI features. Yeah, I know it kind of sucks to hear, but I think they will. Sony has been patenting the crap out of an AI companion. So, for example, you're stuck at a level, you hit the AI button on the controller. Oh no, it's gonna happen though. They had the share button, it's gonna be the AI button, or they're gonna call it something else. The Sony or the PlayStation, yeah, your PlayStation buddy. Something like that. You press the buddy button, an hologram appears from your favorite PlayStation character, and they take you through the level if you were stuck, something like that. That will be one of the features. Maybe, like, I think it could be pretty cool too. I think what would be awesome, and again, I really think the PlayStation 6 will not focus on the games look even prettier now. Oh, it's 60 FPS at all times. They will hit that because they are using the upscaling technology and stuff. But I think it will be more fascinating if, okay, you got your PS5 version, plays like you want to. You got the PS6 version, looks a bit better, but enemies now will kind of react to how you play. So if you, for example, play Intergalactic with only the melee weapon and you don't use your ranged weapon, there will be more enemies that spawn with shields that do not break from your melee weapon. Or, oh, this combat encounter will be slightly different because they know you killed their guys with the melee weapon. Now they have ranged targets like shooting you from afar. If you are a person who uses the ranged weapon more, then they will have these quick, super fast ninjas taking you out. I think that is what I hope will be like AI stuff the PS6 brings, where, okay, you can play the developer intended way, but you can also play the game reacts to you way, where, my experience will be different from you because the enemies are smart as heck. Something like that. What if they do that? I think that would be awesome. Is Witcher 4 coming next year? Probably not. I think 2028. Spider Boy, what are your views? That's what KCD2 does? Really, Melissa? Tell me more. I tried that game, but it's clearly not for me. But do they really change combat encounters? Metal Gear Solid 3 as well. Awesome. I have the remake installed. I need to play it. But of course, like that is cool that games have already been doing it. I think it would be cool if that would be a PS6 feature. So even if a developer maybe doesn't support it, they can work with Sony to kind of create that and have like a slate of archetypes that the game will then throw at you depending on the type of player you are. What are your views on the Phantom Blade Zero game, El Spider-Boy? It's gonna be one of the biggest games of this year. Like, I've played it a couple of times now. It's really, really good. And people that don't have it on the radar yet, they're sleeping. Like, this game, even if you're not good, you will feel like a badass playing it. They mocapped a lot of the action stuff you can do. There are like 30 plus weapons that have their own moveset and abilities. The world looks amazing. I think it's going to be a very, very special game. And I don't think it will be as big as Black Myth Wukong, but it's going to be on that level. Maybe it will be bigger in the West than Black Myth Wukong. But no, I think Phantom Blade Zero is September 9th. If you're launching a game around that time, don't do it. I think it will eat up a lot of people's time and attention. So, no, I think it will totally be one of the biggest games of the year. And hopefully a Game of the Year nominee. I can see it happen. Yeah, Nvidia showed a tag off at CES 2025 in an online game where the AI constantly changes tactics based on the player interaction with all the player-based. That looked cool. Awesome. I did not know that. Yeah, I think that is kind of where... That is, I think, what you can... that is, I think, what would really be interesting and make a PlayStation 6 appealing, maybe even for people who are like, oh, I don't need the best graphics. I think graphics are not where it's at anymore for the next console. If you try to stealth, then they will start wearing shield to prevent it. Or if you stealth in the dark, they will use a more torch. If you are an archer, they will have more archers. Yeah, I thought KCD2 would be up my alley, but I can't get into the realistic clunky combat. The immersion is crazy though. Yeah, Virus, I'm with you. I tried it as well, and then I fell down. It wasn't even that big of a jump, but I jumped down, my ankle broke or whatever, my durability, and I'm like, okay, that you have fall damage, okay, but don't give me all these handicaps. And yeah, the whole, sort of rock paper, like, it's not really rock paper scissors gameplay. It's like hitting from the right side, left. I don't know. I really am happy. Like I think the presentation and the conversations and stuff really cool. But yeah, that sounds awesome too, Melissa, and that's kind of crazy. Like that sounds like that is why I think the Game of the Year nomination is also valid. They were really pushing things, and I can't wait for their next game. I hope it's more. I don't want to say casual, but I would like their next game to be a bit more friendly in terms of the realistic elements, or make a like I'm all for a realism mode and a we got you mode, right? Where they're like, want to go crazy with the durability and your ankle can break and all that sort of stuff? Play the realism mode. If you just want to chill, you want to experience this game the regular way, just want to fight some enemies, don't want to worry about all that your armor breaking or whatever, just do the we got you mode. That would be great. That would be great. I think Alien Isolation kind of already did what you said about the A5 things. Awesome. That's cool that many games have been doing that already. All games that I've not that are not really for me though. But yeah, I get again. I think that is where Sony can make it very appealing for the PS6. Do you think we will see anything from Naughty Dog in the next State of Play? To Coach 2, no. I think my prediction has been we see the intergalactic gameplay. Like the intergalactic gameplay at the September State of Play with its 2027 date. I hope it's earlier than that. I think intergalactic would benefit from a gameplay demo. So like the Ghost of Tsushima. Remember the Ghost of Tsushima gameplay reveal? That would be really beneficial for intergalactic. Like this. Like, okay, this is what, because the game ended up kind of being like this. So yeah, I would love for like intergalactic. Okay, you get the controller. This is what 8 minutes looks like, and then of course you ride around. I don't think it will be like a big open world, but I do think it will have more open spaces, kind of like what they tried with the Seattle, of course, in The Last of Us Part 2 and in Uncharted Lost Legacy. They had one open level as well. They had Madagascar in Uncharted 4. And then, yeah, show the combat. Like, I think a gameplay demo like this for Intergalactic would be amazing. And what is needed? Because right now, yeah, okay, Naughty Dog is making a new game. That first trailer did not really do it for me. I'm more excited about the fact that Naughty Dog is making a new IP than it's because it's Intergalactic. If Intergalactic was not from Naughty Dog, I would not be interested in it right now. But I hope that their gameplay showcase will change my mind. I played for 3 Light. I could have quit. It's not for me. Yeah, Pabs Gaming, I was with you. What's your take on Crimson Desert? Will it be just open world with nothing to do after the main story? So what the interviews have actually been saying is that the game is massive. You can just play through the main story, but you will then obviously miss a lot of missions. You will not have been everywhere in the world. So kind of like your typical open world game. So I think just like with some other open world games like a Ghost of Yotei most recently, it's way smarter to just take it as it comes. Be distracted, go and do this mission, do that, and then maybe do a main mission here and there, and just like do whatever you feel like it. It like he wasn't really able to say if there was like a lot of end game content per se that unlocks after the main story, but what does seem to happen is that there are, like, if you want to fly on the dragon, the fly on the dragon might be part of the main story, but if you want to like pilot the mech, you have to do the faction missions for the dwarves in that sort of like technology area to be able to pilot the mech. If you play through the main story, you will not be able to pilot the mech. So there are a lot of those cool unlocks that you really want to go out and do in the open world. Do you still think Naughty Dog's secret project is Uncharted related? Yeah, to Coach 2, yeah. I would be shocked if it's not. They even have like the guy, the creative director on like it's was it Sean? Is that its name from the Marvel Avengers director? He's like making it, right? So yeah, no, I totally think that yeah, that it's gonna be or that it's gonna be Uncharted. Even though they've said we're not gonna do Uncharted anymore. Like, they're already doing a new IP. Uncharted is like put into perspective how big Uncharted is. Let's look at the sales numbers. Uncharted numbers versus other PlayStation games. I think we might even have like a and you have to remember that Uncharted began on the PS3. Uncharted is what kind of started Sony's PlayStation exclusive quality push, basically. Before that, there were like you had your Ratchet and Clanks and stuff, but it was never on the same level. Like Uncharted was the first like real mature action adventure. Like it was kind of the blueprint for a ton of games that followed. And let's see, I'm gonna look at Sony games. Because we of course had the information thanks to the Insomniac leak. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, we're over on Reddit. Sales number for a ton of Sony games, including both PS4 and PS5 games, just leaked. So this from the Insomniac hack, so the internal data that was leaked. Uncharted: The Thieves Legacy of Thieves Collection, which was like Uncharted 4 and why am I now blank on? I just said it. Lost Legacy. That was just like a re-release, nothing too crazy. It was mostly for PC, right? This. Look here. Uncharted: A Thief's End. 18 million. 18 million units. Look at this. God of War 2018. 20 million. Uncharted 4. 18 million. Uncharted Collection. 9.6 million. Sony would be crazy to not do anything with the Uncharted franchise. We are getting a Horizon game what feels like every year. They're milking that. And they're sleeping on Uncharted. People would die for a new game. If they can have like an Uncharted game as like a launch title for PS6, oh my god. That would be crazy. But yeah, Sony, and like there's a second movie coming, I think, still as well. I think it only makes sense for Naughty Dog's secret second game to be an Uncharted game. They're already doing a new IP, so why not let them do another Uncharted game? I would love that. Agreed. If it wasn't Naughty Dog, would not be interested. Yeah, right. Regarding the Intergalactic. I watched that interview with Luke Stevens. The impression is that the game has a huge amount of side content. Yeah, it certainly has. So I think you would do yourself a disservice to not play Crimson Desert and skip the side content to Crimson Desert. What the hell is A Little Devil Inside? Sometimes people like bring that game up and I already forgot about it. But yeah, that that happened. Yeah, that or is still happening, I guess. Any thoughts on Obsidian saying Outer Worlds 2 underperformed and not getting a third game, but about getting a second game after underperforming? I don't think, Camiso, that they said Avowed is getting a second game. They're gonna make another game in the Avowed universe, which is the with the Pillars of Eternity universe, right? Yeah, I think it is. Pillars of Eternity, Obsidian. So they're not saying there's gonna be an Avowed 2. They're saying there's going to be a new game in the Pillars of Eternity universe. So, I mean, I think it makes sense. Outer Worlds 2, that first game sold 5 million. The second game, I think maybe, if they are lucky, crossed 1 million units sold. That is really bad. The second game was in development for way longer, cost them way more than the first game. So, no, it's not weird that they're doing a third game. A new Avowed, again, I don't think they're gonna do a new Avowed. I think Obsidian is in such an interesting position because they also, in that interview you're talking about with Jason Schreier, they're talking about wanting to make games faster and stuff, and not spending as long and as much budget on them. But to me, their games already feel like they're lacking in substance, or at least, like, it feels like a game, and this might be crazy, but it feels like a game that if you don't play it, you're not missing anything. And that you don't want your game to be that. Like, they're not trying anything crazy or anything like. That is a cool mechanic that I've not seen before. It's like, oh, you're waiting for Elder Scrolls 6? Why don't you play Avowed? Because it has those elements, and that is out right now. And then they're asking $70 for it. On PlayStation, they're asking $50 for it, which seems like a way more fair price. But that's not a really compelling argument when there are so many great games right now, and time is equally as valuable as money. So people would rather, I don't know, play The Witcher 3 DLC that they did not play yet, or, I don't know, go back to those games, than pick up a new game where they're, that might not be as good as the thing it's trying to emulate. So I really think Obsidian, and that's why Grounded works. It's new, it's smaller, it's interesting, and yeah, that game was successful. They put out 3 games last year. So I really think they have to go back to the drawing board and really focus on what is going to be the thing that you cannot get elsewhere in the next game we do, and then focus on that. And because they know how to make quality games, but there's just no room for another one. There's no room for that anymore. It has to have some sort of hook, and those games missed hooks. And obviously Outer Worlds 2 with the whole $80 did not help either. Velarp, good to see you as well. Uncharted 4 is such a good game. Oh yeah, oh my god. I need a new Uncharted game. And they're gonna do it. Again, they would be stupid. I'm torn between the Steam Deck or Switch 2. Those are completely different. Like, Switch 2, it's an easier use case. The games that, like, are on there usually perform pretty great. Of course, Steam Deck still has the PC specs, and yeah, you have to make sure that the game's optimized and stuff. But on Switch 2, the games are way more expensive because they are Switch 2 editions for those games. So yeah, you're usually shelling out full price for them. So yeah. I think, yeah, when people are talking about Will Powers here, he's doing a great job in doing the Crimson Desert interviews and basically getting a lot of free promotion for the game and answering a lot while not spoiling anything. I think he it's a very interesting approach to getting free press. Obviously, it helps that people are just very interested in the Crimson Desert. So, I'm one of the few people who have not touched Uncharted or Horizon yet. That's crazy, Captain P. You do you, but you're doing yourself a disservice. Especially now that Tomb Raider's coming back with Uncharted. Yeah, I don't like. There's room for Tomb Raider and Uncharted, of course. When do you think we will see an announcement for the Black Flag remake, Dominic? I think it will be a long time. I've said the game is probably coming out in October. I might be wrong, but we at least know for a fact that it won't be coming out before April, and they're pushing it out of their financial year, not to launch it in May. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, because then, like, unless they really saw, okay, just like with Shadows, the 3 extra months is really gonna make a huge difference, then maybe. Because I think it might be smart of them to release in the summer instead of the end of the year. But we will see. I will, of course, keep you posted. But yeah, I'm not... I don't know. Now, the second project is a new IP too. Oh, we will see. Cool. I would be shocked if it is. Unless they call it like an Uncharted adventure and then it's a new IP in the Uncharted universe. Does that even work? I don't know. Bro, what do you think about GTA? Will it come this year? Yeah, I still believe. They are believing. I still believe too. But I also would not be surprised if it launches later. They still got room to push it to March, and it will be in their financial year. So they have like a Plan B button basically, or it will be Plan D because it was supposed to come out at the end of last year. Do you think we will see Dustboard gameplay tomorrow? We gotta see something soon. Yeah, that's crazy that there's like this From Software game on Switch too. I'm really curious because it is Miyazaki, right, working on it. It's crazy, but I think the Switch 2 could use a game like that. But I mean, why not? They could do it. But it does feel like it's more like a Nintendo exclusive type game, and the partner directs are more, hey, third-party publishers bringing their games over. Like, their games that are already out. That is what usually partner directs are like. Oh, remember that game from a year ago? Yeah, you can now play it on Switch too. And I do think that they will, save Dustborn for another event. But I might be wrong. We will see. We will see. No, Black Flag Remake will be out this year. I would bet money on that. I don't think that Tomb Raider essentially turned into Uncharted. The games were more unique back on PS5. I do not like the Tomb Raider. I mean, Big Motor, you have to remember, like, it worked out for them. The 2013 game was really successful. They had to do something to appease to a more mainstream audience. I'm really curious what they will do with the remake, of course, later in the year. Bro, why is Unity not 60 FPS on PS5? I wish. Well, I mean, we have rumors that they're working on it. So, we of course had the Far Cry updates for Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon, and Primal. They all got 60 FPS. And Syndicate already had a 60 FPS update as well on console. There are rumors that right now that team is like, okay, we're done with the Far Cry games. Yo, what are the other casualties that need the 60 FPS update on current consoles? And we see like Unity being like, help. And then Ubisoft is like, you go fix that. So I totally think Unity will probably get a 60 FPS update this year. They didn't need the American Lara maker. Oh, Americanish Lara. I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious what they will do with the new ones. I want to pre-order Crimson Desert, but it's super expensive in Africa. Waiting for when it's on sale next year. I do feel that Crimson Desert is gonna be one of those games that won't go on sale pretty fast, but we will see. Just hopefully we get some more announcements to fill out the year, since I'm unaware of any major games from April through August. I assume many studios waiting on GTA 6 could be the issue. I mean, we have a rumor, like the partner direct for Switch 2 is happening this week. Next week we get the State of Play that is rumored for the 12th. And then you blink with your eyes and the calendar is filled. So that all these companies have learned, if you put a date on your product, you better hit that date. Because if you delay a couple of times, even in this day and age, if you have a PlayStation Store page, you delay your date, you usually have to like refund people. So you obviously don't want to do that. And you don't want to like have that block with text saying, sorry, we need more time. Please be excited. We value your feedback, blah, blah, blah. You just want to be, okay, the game is done almost. We just need some polishing here and there. We're going to dedicate us to this release date. Only move, I think, if there are like other big games coming out around that time that suddenly dropped, which of course happened last year with Hell Is Us and Silk Song and all these games in the same week. And Hell Is Us had a huge, like, people were really looking forward to that game when it was announced, and the demo I think did pretty well, and then Silk Song happened, and other games in that same week out of nowhere, and they kind of had to go back to the drawing board. Or like they still went through with it, but it hurt them big time. Yeah, Mike, I hope they do a like demo with Toxic Commando. I think that would help, hopefully. But yeah, I think it looks like a AA game, which is fine. It might be fun, but yeah, we will see if it actually turns out well. There are many other games that I'm way more curious about this year. The Modern Tomb Raider trilogy was really good, Jordan. I know, I played them. They were very hard. I played them when I was very young, and they were way too hard. With like the tiger instantly killing you and stuff. I had nightmares back then, but curious to see what they do with the anniversary. Have you heard about the PSSR 2.0 update? What do you think? I think it would be fascinating if, so for people who don't know, there's right now a rumor that they will basically improve the AI capabilities of the PS5 Pro, so you can go to higher frame rates, higher resolution. That would be the first time, for as far as I know, that through a software update, we of course have seen it for some consoles, like older especially. They released like a physical thing you can attach to the console to improve its power. It seems that now just a simple software update can improve the PS5 Pro. And I think that would be huge because, again, we've not seen that before, and it would make the purchase, yeah, more valuable. So I hope that that's the case, and I think that would be very interesting then for future consoles, because it is always kind of weird that they launch a console and then it never gets updated. But your computer, all your other stuff always can get a bit better or more sufficient and stuff. So I think that would be an interesting trend, and I hope it's true. But yeah, the rumors are before April, right? So we will see. We will see. I haven't heard a lot to talk about it, but Valheim is leaving early access this year. I mean, felt like that game already came out years ago. That's always what I feel with these early access games. Launch it a year later, like what Hades 2 did. I think that's the way to go. I'm currently addicted to the newest gacha game, Ark Knights Enfield. Well, Doveschmitz, my prayers are with you. Keep that wallet locked. But no, happy for you. I mean, saw a lot of commercials, of course, for that game. And yeah, I think it does do some interesting things for that genre. So glad that you're liking it. Well, anyone hyped for Blood of the Dawnwalker, or is it just me? No, it's not just you. I think that will be one of those games that launches from April till August, like in that window. I really hope it picks a great window. I have high hopes for that game. I do think if you go in with like a AA, like I think if you go in and not expecting like this Witcher type AAA experience, but a game that does some very interesting things in terms of, yeah, like your choices impacting the game and stuff. I think it's gonna be very cool. I think it looks awesome. Yeah, I hope they next time they show a trailer have a release date and that it's like 2 months later or something. Crimson Desert or Fable? I've played Crimson Desert already for 3 hours, 4 hours almost. So I'm gonna say Fable because I'm more curious about that. But I also still have my reservations for Fable. But I think both games will be a lot of fun. I don't think they will hit the RPG of the decade status. I don't think they will reach like the Elden Ring, oh my god, game of the generation or whatever. But I do think they will be very cool games that do some very cool things in terms of, yeah, especially outside of combat. Because for both games, the combat is something that I'm kind of worried about. But I do think it will be a very cool game. Like, both worlds are amazing. I think the Fable art direction is crazy. So already just running around in that world, I think will be really, really fun. Will Fable 2 and 3 get remakes? No, Ethan. I think they will just continue with this Fable. Like, it's... their new Fable is a new type of game. I mean, it would maybe be smart to remake 2, because I don't think a lot of people that are gaming now have played it, but that would take away from the Fable they're doing now. I think this Fable game is going to be successful, and I think they will make a second game. Hey, Lord, Yor, did you play the Plague Tale games? One of my favorite story from a video game ever. Yeah, I love the first game. I tried the second, but yeah, I might want to get back to it. But I'm actually really curious about the Requiem one they're doing this year. Is it called Requiem? Right, it is, right? Because we have Resident, we have Resident Evil Requiem, but I think it's Requiem, a Plague Tale story or something. But that game looks awesome. Like, I wanted more. Yeah, that game is not really about the combat, but at one point the puzzles were kind of one-dimensional, and it had like the very, if I remember correctly, it had like you would like be game over very quickly and stuff. So yeah, the second one is even better. I need to play it then. Vampire games are kind of scarce, so I'm hyped. Yeah, for sure. For sure. The Fable Showcase was a 180 turnaround for me. In a good way? In a good way, or like in a bad way? Resonance, A Plague Tale Legacy. That's right, yeah. But the fourth game is coming out this year. Oh, dip. Yeah, Dylan. That's another game that I hope they launch before September. Auntie, no, people were kind of like that for Shadows as well. I would suggest you try more of the stealth playstyle and stuff. Maybe skip some dialogue here and there. The dialogue, like for me, for Shadows, my New Game Plus run was more and like a lot, like very enjoyable, just focusing on the gameplay. In a good way, nice. Doversmeet, good to hear. Thanks everyone for joining this weekly Wednesday stream. Still got some work to do, so we'll be doing that. I actually have not been using my freaking lights. Still looks kind of fine, but it can look better. It can look way better. Gloonky gloonk. Oh. Oh. Yeah, well, maybe should have done that earlier. But thanks everyone for joining. Had a great time, as always. I told you about GTA. I wanted to quickly talk about this, which is like interesting to me. So we of course had the, let's see, we had the thing here. Physical games will not be delayed to avoid leaks, says Take-Two CEO. That's not the plan. So that was of course the rumor that the physical editions would be delayed because of leaks. So this happened. A few hours later, this happened. Resident Evil Requiem physical copies leaked. Watch out for spoilers! Dude, the game is out a month from now, or like 3-4 weeks. People have it already. So, let me tell you this. I don't believe it for 1 second. Either digital count in a physical box or physical edition delay. Again, there is no world, I think, where GTA will release on disc day one. Because, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It will, stores will be robbed. Leaks will be out there. No, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. They should triple the chip GTA. I hope Take-Two is not looking. When is the Luke and Jor podcast? I have to text Luke. Is Luke back? Oh, he just messaged me. Podcast today. Well, guess we're doing the podcast today. So yeah, hope to see you there. That would be in 3 hours from now. Hope to see you guys there. Goodbye.